And moving to East Africa, Kenya has launched a landmark inquiry against the Royal British Army. British soldiers stationed in the African nation have been accused of human rights violations, including torture, unlawful detention, and even murder. This week, hundreds of Kenyans flocked to 4 public hearings to narrate their ordeals. Our next report brings you the details about the inquiry and the painful testimonies of the victims.
For decades, people of Kenya have called for action against the Royal British Army for allegedly committing crimes in the East African nation, and it looks like they are finally getting what they want. A parliamentary defense committee in Kenya has launched a landmark inquiry to hear the heartbreaking testimonies from Kenyans who say they were mistreated by troops from the United Kingdom. These soldiers have been stationed at the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, or Batuk. The base was established in the central town of Nanyuki shortly after the East African nation gained independence from the UK in 1963. However, the British soldiers residing in Batuk have been accused of human rights violations and abuse of power. These include mistreatment, torture, unlawful detention, and even murder. This week, hundreds of people flocked to the 4 public hearings to narrate their ordeals of alleged misconduct by British troops. In the most high-profile case dates back to 2012. 21-year-old Agnes Wanjiru was found dead in a septic tank. She had been seen with a group of British soldiers the night before. In 2019, an inquiry concluded that she was killed by 1 or 2 British officers. This week, her family leveled further allegations saying that Batuk and the Kenyan authorities were involved in a cover-up of her death. While the Kenyan investigators have opened a probe into Wanjiru's death, they have not charged anyone. In another incident, 22-year-old Chaula Mamusi was allegedly run over by a British Army truck in 2019 and has been in a wheelchair ever since. Mamusi's mother claims that British troops told her they would take care of her injured daughter if she doesn't file a lawsuit against them. Another emotional testimony came from 28-year-old Jean-Rika Namru, who was accompanied by her 5-year-old daughter. She said she was in a consensual relationship with a British soldier who left her when she became pregnant. Now, the only thing Namru wants is child support so that her daughter can go to school. The public hearings also saw a string of people who complained of health issues after a fire was allegedly started by British soldiers in 2021. This was during a training exercise being hosted at a wildlife sanctuary. The blaze lasted for 4 days and destroyed more than 12,000 acres or about 5,000 hectares of land that left at least 1 person dead. Another witness testified that he was attacked by a lion because natural habitat was destroyed by the fire, forcing the animal to come close to human settlements. Meanwhile, several others said they developed respiratory and eye problems. Over 7,000 locals are believed to have started legal action against the British Army following the fire incident. Now, the defense partnership between the UK and Kenya allows up to 10,000 British soldiers every year. However, this time Kenya wants justice. The African nation's defense minister has promised to prosecute British soldiers who are found guilty of breaking Kenyan law. However, Britain says it doesn't accept the jurisdiction of Kenyan courts. While Kenya believes it should be able to try British soldiers that may have committed grave offenses against Kenyans.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.
South Africa's May 29th elections.
It was the start of change in the country.
We are on the verge of history. I am standing here at the forefront of change, where voices echo the call for action.
The nation grapples with an unemployment crisis. As South Africans prepare to cast their votes, the question looms: will the winds of change usher in a new era, or will the legacy of the past maintain its grip on the future?